What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Bourbon Bullshit Podcast with some good friends, great drinks, and a little bit of BS. So grab a seat, pour up something neat, and welcome to the show. Hey, so what's going on, everyone? Today we are here in beautiful Maitland, Florida. Today I'm actually joined with a good friend. Well, actually, yeah, we became good friends through the courtesy for a while.
Absolutely.
So today I'm here with Josh Schaeffer?
Schaeffer.
Yep. From the Packwoods Bar in Maitland. This bar is actually not open yet, so we're behind the scenes. So, this is the privileges of having your own drinking podcast. Today, how are you doing, Josh?
Doing well. Happy to be here. It's good to see you.
Awesome, man. So you excited about this new concept and this new bar, right? You guys are opening up probably in the next couple of weeks?
Yeah. So we're looking to do our grand opening within the next week or so. We're very excited. It's been a long time coming. Definitely been working pretty hard on this project.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into it, and we are working with a new space and a new build out. So just kind of figuring out all the kinks of everything and making sure that we're good to go.
That's awesome, man. And so tell me about this unique space. So this is actually a really cool place. And I've never been here. I've driven by here 14 times. I used to work actually at the previous company I worked for. Actually, I was across the street from here.
Okay, very nice.
And I've never been to the Maitland Social.
Correct, yeah. So this building is a new build out. It was just built in the last year or so. So we are one of the last spaces to open up in here, but we do have some other fine establishments in the building. So we are joined by Pizza Bruno as well as Wave Sushi. This is Wave Sushi's second location, and I believe Bruno's third location over here.
Yeah.
So definitely some standouts in the community. And then we also have Foxtail Coffee and 407 Fit is going in. So we got a little Pilates for those for those exercise buffs.
That feels like a very unique situation. So I could get in great shape, get a coffee for the energy before I get in shape, I guess.
Absolutely.
Get drunk and then hangover food right there.
Yep, perfect. It's everything in one building. It's pretty cool, and we're definitely working with the other businesses. We're all trying to be symbiotic over here, so helping each other out. Definitely some collaborations that are in the works, and we're very excited to be in this space with everybody.
That's awesome, man. I really do think it's cool because a lot of we'll get deeper into it, but I think that it's cool to have that space where you could also eat and drink and find something new and not kind of off the beaten path a little bit, because you're not in the thick of downtown.
Very much so.
You're not necessarily in the thickness all in the downtown Winter Park. You're giving people an option here where there's not really much stuff to do.
Yeah, and Maitland's definitely up and coming. There's a lot of new housing going in, and there's new stuff as far as the service industry opening up every day.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on over here, and I think as Orlando, has been growing, everything is starting to spread out more, and so you're starting to see all these areas of town really kind of grow and become something more. So it's exciting to be a part of the growth of the city, and
yeah, I commend it, man. I think you have permanent vacations kind of close, very different theme, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So, they're doing a great job over there, obviously with the Tiki focus and stuff. Love those guys.
Yeah, we you guys are all very close knit, which I love also, by the way.
Yeah, the scene is, we're all definitely interconnected.
Yeah, when I mentioned one place, I was like, oh, so-and-so works there. Okay, I guess you guys all know each other. They probably go to the same book club.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to work with people that are working at permanent vacation, and, it's all across the board. We've all worked together at some point or another throughout all the cocktail bars in town, and it's a great scene.
That's awesome, man. So here, guys, today we are actually going to enjoy one of the cocktails because your bar is a little bit different than some that we've gone through. So tell us about today's drink of the day, why you picked it for us, because I gave you dealer's choice, right? So
absolutely. It's not necessarily probably everybody's go-to, but the Amari scene, this is an Amari-based cocktail. This drink is called High Top Chucks.
High Top Chucks.
High Top Chucks,
Nice.
It's classic, never goes out of style. This cocktail being daytime, I thought it would be a nice sipper for us to start out with. Not packing as quite a big of a punch as some of the other drinks on the menu. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Amari is a category that's always been loved by bartenders, and I think the public is really getting more on board with it. And I think it's cool to kind of show the spectrum of what you can do with Amari, and I think this is a very approachable cocktail, using something that wasn't always viewed as approachable. And so we're kind of bridging that gap and kind of introducing people to things, and
Yeah. I think that's fair. No, please continue, because I think Amari's, Campari, like all these things that people think, aperitifs in general, people kind of shy away from because they're very distinguished flavors.
Absolutely.
They're very pronounced, I guess would be the better term. Like very pronounced. They sometimes could overpower a cocktail if used the wrong way.
Absolutely.
So tell us about how you balance this one and what made you want to...
you know, with this approach, you know, we did do a blend of Amari that have different characteristics. You know, some are a little more lush. We do have Shinar in there, which is going to be a little more earthy and kind of...
Break down what Shinar is, because isn't it...
It's an Amari that's mainly, or Amaro rather, that's mainly made from artichokes.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's going to be other herbs and spices in there, but it's you know, it's got a earthy mushroom quality to it, which is very unique. And with this cocktail, we kind of took that. We added some pomegranate juice to kind of match some of those flavors and kind of make the drink a little juicier, a little more approachable.
Yeah.
A little bit of mint syrup to brighten it up for people, and kind of play into some of the other flavors that you find in Amaro. And then you know, a little lime juice, some saline. Saline always helps any cocktail. I like to say,
pop.
Yeah, exactly. Just like food is a little bland without salt, you know, a cocktail can be as well, and salt can really draw out some of these things for people.
Yeah.
Accentuate
kind of these flavors and make sure that everything's brightened up.
And we wanted to definitely throw some aromatics on there, so we have you know, an espresso mint garnish, and then as well as some grated cinnamon. Well, cheers.
Cheers, Josh. I'm excited to try this, guys. This is the first time I'm trying it, so.
Refreshing, approachable, still has a little bit of that bitter finish that you're looking for with a cocktail using Amaro.
Oh my god! And I know for those culinary people out there, like I'm gonna fuck up all the concepts because I'm not that guy. The fact that the cinnamon, the mint, there to pronounce that flavor, the scent, is the moment that you're about to sip the drink, kind of opens everything up. Those bitter flavors at the end, because I like bitter drinks. I like Campari. I like my Negronis. I like all that.
Absolutely.
It finishes not overly bitter, so it's overpowering, and I can't. Even, that's actually really fucking good. Make sure that you try this high top
chucks.
When you guys come in here, please make sure you try this, because it's more. It's pleasantly surprising how good this cocktail is, because you expect all those harsh, crazy flavors are going to overpower the.
Absolutely. And like I said, you know, we're trying to bring things to the community, kind of open people's view up on some of these spirits and stuff, and kind of really showcase what we're able to do with things, you know.
Dope. Well, you guys are going to be in for a treat for the drink of the day. You're going to be able to see that video of him making the high top chucks in very professional, fantastic fashion. Better than I could ever make any drinks at home, guys. For all those who are like, oh, I like your recipes, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing compared to these guys. So it's a lot of great fun. But all right, so I want to get to know you in the origin story of Packwoods, right? Like you said a long time coming. So tell us about the origin story of what ended up bringing you here to the Packwoods and what inspired it. Like what? Because you said we have a thriving cocktail scene. You have a couple of things here, but when you think about, obviously Orlando downtown's no longer the same, right? Orlando downtown's changed.
Correct. Yeah,
everyone's migrating somewhere else.
Absolutely,
Mills,
everything's spreading out a lot, and you know, with thriving hospitality, we saw Maitland kind of as an up and coming area. That was kind of lacking a standard cocktail bar, and so we wanted to bring that to the community over here and kind of be the bridge between the neighborhood bar and also you know, bringing very nice cocktails to people, still having you know, an appeal to the locals, and you know, you can come grab your shot and a beer and not feel bad about it. You can, but we also wanted to make cocktails approachable for people. We do have a huge focus on classics and kind of elevating those and kind of showing our variations and what we want to, you know, we want our cocktails to still be somewhat recognizable for the most part, and approachable. Awesome. And then we're also kind of diving into we have a beautiful back bar, I should say.
Oh,
and
you guys are getting pictures
with all the with all the space we have. You know, we wanted to bring a large assortment of spirits to people, and also just kind of, you know, show people what's out there, and you know, we want to do a little bit of everything. So we're kind of covering all of our bases.
I actually love that, man, and I love the fact that you brought up that you wanted people to be able to get their beer in a shot and not feel bad about it.
Absolutely. I think, you know, there are some cocktail bars in town that are amazing. They do a phenomenal job, but not necessarily for everybody, and they're not bringing in that local neighborhood business per se. You know, it's just more a little more intricate, and so we kind of wanted to be that middle ground of that for people.
I think that's fair. I think it's only fair because one of the things that as a consumer, right, we have friends that we want to go out, and you could, they know who they are. I'm not going to talk about it. Gotta. But there are friends that will say, hey, man, they're just not as, I guess, accustomed to the cocktail experience, and they don't know fashion because everyone knows an old fashioned. But if you were to tell him, hey, rise versus this or this some aperitif versus this, they would look at you like, I have no idea what the fuck is going on. I just want a beer and a shot.
Absolutely.
And it makes it so it's warm and inviting for everyone, and you don't have to kind of, as a consumer, segregate your friends.
For sure.
Today's a fancy night out or a day we're gonna get cocktails. These people might not want to go. Now you can bring everyone to the same spot. So.
Indeed, and we still have a great beer selection too. We have a nice little wine program going, and even our cocktail menu, even the more experimental stuff, we have it laid out in a fashion where it's very easy to read, and it definitely guides you through in a way. I'm excited for everybody to see that once we get our menu books in and everything. But we definitely kind of laid it out there for everybody, and we wanted people to feel comfortable kind of diving into some new things.
That's dope, man. Yeah, because having it here kind of not forces your hand, but gives them the opportunity to say, well, everyone's ordering the left hand, or everyone's ordering this random cocktail, or everyone's ordering high top chucks. It looks cool. It looks weird, but I might, for someone who might not necessarily drink cocktails, it gives them the opportunity. One of the things I've also noticed, for those who, obviously you guys can't see the back bar, but when you stop in here, I do love the fact that you do also support local. I see Sin Nombre, which is a local brand, one of our really good friends and supporters of the show.
Absolutely. I do love Forward Slash and everything they're doing over there. You got Mike and Tim. Those guys are brilliant. They're putting together a lot of really cool products, and we actually plan on doing some work with them in the future. One of our focuses with Packwoods is we wanted to put a big emphasis on education as well. And so we're planning on hosting a lot of events, whether it's bringing in different, distillers and producers, and doing, meet and greets and tastings, and kind of like, allowing the community to interact with these other figures in the community, and kind of really showcase some things.
Yeah, man. I love everything you guys are doing. I love the aesthetic. The guys here did a fantastic job of building a space where it's warm, inviting. It almost feels like you can come here in the middle of the day, which I am here. It's the middle of the fucking day, so screw you guys. I'm getting drunk at noon. Feels like you can do this in the middle of the day, still enjoy your... It doesn't feel like this closed off, and I love places like Mathers. I love those places where it feels like really moody, better at night, and this feels like a everyday vibe.
We're fortunate enough to have a lot of windows, a lot of bright light in here. We're not trying to hide from anybody. We're out here in the open.
I love it, man. I love it all. So overall, like after this, not that I always think about like what's next or anything, but is the vibe to make this something you expand on, or is this something not the vibe, but I guess the goal for you?
Packwoods is going to be a standalone, but we do want it to become kind of a staple in the community. So we definitely want to expand on what we're doing and keep moving forward. I mean, we always want to be progressive, right, and stay on top of the scene. Within the hospitality group, Thriving Hospitality, we do have, some other projects in the works and everything. They will be different concepts, but, we have a diverse portfolio of establishments and talent and different things. And, we're just going to keep building on that as we move along.
I do love the fact, too, that since you came from a different location, all that, you have all those peers and all this, you could continue to build on it and work with those concepts and work with a lot of the things that made those places successful. Like you've already started talking about the education stuff, right? So I'm assuming eventually cocktail classes and all this random.
Absolutely, yeah. We're gonna be doing cocktail classes, and like I said, we're gonna be hosting a whole bunch of different people, whether it be distillers, locals from over at Forward Slash, all sorts of different things. So
I love that. Man, this is a beautiful location, guys. So make sure if for date nights, for just hanging out, it's been a rough day at work, and I know it's a pretty busy, pretty busy intersection.
This main intersection right here gets very, very busy at traffic hours.
Yeah. So guys, to avoid traffic, just stop here at the Packwoods Bar.
Yeah, exactly. Just wait out the traffic. Come have a drink or two. Come hang out with us. Share some good times. We'll have some conversations.
Yeah. And it's a perfect kind of space where you have your locals and your regulars, right? It's
absolutely.
Be awesome. So I'd love to hear it, man. So tell me more. Like, we're going to take a quick break, but when we get back, I want to know more about you and what brought you eventually to this spot that you are in now, okay?
Yeah, sounds great.
Be right back, guys. Hey, guys, while you're listening to the show, we know that you might want to partake in some drinks with us and enjoy in the libations. Here at Bourbon and Bullshit, we ask that you drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive. Avoid Amazon one-click buy. And for the love of God, do not text your ex. You do not need that kind of closure. They've moved on. So should you, Joseph. You should stop Facebook stalking. She knows. She knows. Now, All jokes aside, don't do anything dumb, take care of yourselves, and be safe. Thanks, guys. Now back to the show. Hey, guys, so we are back, and we're going to get to know Josh a little bit more and what brought him here to this actual spot in his professional career. So talk to me. Were you always in the service industry and the bar industry, or was...
I definitely got into the scene pretty young. I was going to college at UCF. Funny enough, I was an engineering degree.
You're the second engineer that I know has turned to bartending. What is going on in engineering?
Hey, I didn't finish out my degree. I was definitely supporting myself the whole time, and was working a lot. Started working downtown. Came in as a bar back and everything, just as every bartender should.
What bar did you start at?
So the first bar I came into was actually Ember, and funny enough, it was way back when Adam Sewell, who now works with Heaven Hill, was still the GM over there.
I remember
so
Ember.
I was fortunate enough, yeah.
Oh my
It's actually
God.
closed now, but it went through some trials and tribulations, and it was a great place to cut my teeth, kind of learn volume. I started there. I think I was still 18 at the time, maybe just getting ready to turn 19, and then within the company, my manager kind of pushed me over because one of the other bars needed some help, and I wasn't able to get bartending hours at that bar. So then I at 19 years old started bartending Latitudes. Funny enough.
Oh my God!
Another volume spot. It was very interesting. I kind of got thrown to the wolves, but I figured it out, and
You were at Latitudes after Ember.
yeah.
Oh my
So I was
God.
actually working at both for a little bit. I used to work Wind Down Wednesdays, and then I would go up and bartend at Latitudes after Wind Down Wednesdays. And
For anyone who's not from Orlando, you need some pretty thick skin to work at both or to be around. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's a high demand, really busy. Latitudes for a very long time was constantly packed.
yeah, I mean, it was a great rooftop bar. Obviously, we have good weather year round in Florida, more or less. So it was definitely a lot. I used to go up there for the last few hours of the night and do at least a couple grand in sales by myself, and so that was great and everything. It was an awesome experience. I did get to a point where I did want to get out of the downtown scene though, and that's when I made my way over to Cask and Larder back when it was still in Winter Park.
Oh shit!
And that's where I kind of recut my teeth, if you will, and started to learn more of the craft side of things and how to do things the proper way, and really getting into the nitty gritty and the history of bartending.
That's dope, man. Yeah, because obviously for those who are not from Florida, Latitudes, as much as a great fun bar, it's a speed. Everything has to go fast.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're
It's
not
turn
even-
and burn. You got 4 or 5 deep at your bar. You're trying to pump people out as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and same thing with Embers. Embers,
Yeah.
very much like, hey, beer, wine, regular drinks. You're not making an elegant crafted cocktail.
No, and it was something that I was kind of yearning for. So kind of made my way out of that scene and worked my way over to Winter Park, where was able to dive into doing some more elegant stuff, if you will.
Yeah, and Cask and Larder is now Ravenous Pig.
Correct.
And-
And so I did end up staying with the company, and I eventually became a bar manager at Ravenous Pig, and then beverage director once the company was expanding a little bit more and doing some other things. I spent a lot of time there, worked with so many great figures in the scene, a bunch of really cool cats that now have their own bars or, managing other spots and all over town. So it's really cool being able to go to all my favorite bars, and it's kind of run by all the people I used to work with, and we all used to do it together. And
I was gonna say that. I feel like that's like every craft cocktail bar manager or owner's like origin story was Cask and Larder and Ravenous Pig.
yeah,
some kind
a
of
lot
connection
of the big
there.
names have come through there, and even just the bartenders around town. There's just a lot of. It was definitely a place where people kind of culminated their talents, and then
Yeah.
moved on to do other things.
That tells you something about what Cask and Larder is pumping out too, and
Yeah.
like their expectations and how they do things. And like, I don't know them. I don't know anyone who currently works there. Obviously, I know people who used to work there. But it tells you something about like that cocktail program and everything that they were doing, because there was a lot of success stories that came out of Cask and Larder.
Very much so. Very much so. Even well over a decade ago, you have some of the big names in the scene where, some of the original bartenders and managers over there.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to like Eric Foster and those cats.
Yeah, man, it's crazy because not you, but because I'm a drunk, so I'm a lush. So I drink a lot of places. I have seen a lot of the people that I now know and love in bartending started at Cask and Larders, The Woods, the Courtesy Downtown, Mathers.
Absolutely.
Like when you find kind of your passion, you keep gravitating towards that very niche scene. Mm-hmm. So it seems like it's a very close, small community that is always bringing in, hey, here's a new protege. Here's someone who you're going to see more in the scene. But it's a lot of the same faces. You see people like Tracy that work at / here and there.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
Well, I was gonna say too, going back to like the Woods and stuff. Billy used to manage over there. He's been the GM at Courtesy for quite a while. And I was fortunate enough to work with Billy at Cask and Larder and Ravenous Pig a little bit about a decade ago, and then more recently took on an AGM position over at Courtesy, and was before I got onto this project, and so. It was very nice to be able to reconnect and get behind the bar with Billy a little bit again. And
yeah, you ended up over there for a little bit. How long were you there? Because I feel like it was like at least the whole time that they were open downtown. I mean, in Winter Park.
It wasn't quite that long. I wrapped up earlier last year with Ravenous Pig, and then made my way over there. It was actually, I think they've been there going on 2 years already now, if you believe it or not. And I was there less than a year.
Oh, really? I thought I saw you there. No, maybe once again seeing the same faces at different locations.
I will say I've definitely guest bartended at Courtesy plenty of times prior to that. You've definitely seen my face.
Then
in
that's
there,
probably
so,
right. I was like, I feel like I saw you longer.
Yeah, it's I was always in there too, so hanging out with the guys.
So with that and originally wanted to be an engineer. Halfway through being an engineer, or some part of the way through being an engineer?
I got to a point where I was doing really well in the industry. It became a huge passion of mine, and financially getting through college, I was already in a bunch of debt, and I was already making really good money. So I found a new passion that I enjoyed more. Kind of decided I didn't want to be behind a desk for the rest of my life, and so I decided to take. It is very much overrated. It's nice to be active and. Be able to meet and talk to new people every day. And, it was a whole nother, I just felt the need to kind of move on to that. And, it's been wildly successful for me. So
I love to hear that, man, because it's just, I'm not even being funny. How many people I've heard that are bartenders are in the service industry or restaurant industry started off, and I'm sorry for everyone who's a 9 to 5. I get it. Some people, it is their passion, whatever. But they started like this corporate pathway, and as either a means to make money during or just for shits, like they got into bartending. Yeah. Billy's origin story is he needed money for jiu-jitsu equipment, so he starts bar backing. Like we've had people who are an architect and it's like, we have a nuclear physicist, nuclear engineering, Lance Winters. He's like, I'd rather make really good whiskey. What the shit? So
it's funny. I've worked with people in the industry that there's one gentleman I worked with. He was a college professor prior.
College kids can make you want to drink. Teaching in general.
Yeah. So people come from all walks of life and find solace in the industry, and it's a beautiful thing. So.
Yeah, there's once again we talk about it on the show all the time. 3 universal languages is music, food, and alcohol.
Indeed, it's what brings everybody together. I mean, everybody's got to eat and everybody's got to drink, and it all goes hand in hand. And those are kind of some of the staples of life that really bring everybody together.
Yeah, completely agreed, man. It's really just cool to see that you were able to find your passion and keep building on it, and ended up here at the Packwood. So, so you said less than a year at the Courtesy. You're like, you kind of dipped out. At what point did you decide I need to do the Packwood, or what led you here in this role?
So
and your position. We never even covered. What's your position and everything here?
So I am the general manager here. Mm-hmm. So I'm running the operations on this side of things. Obviously, like I said, we do have the Thriving Hospitality Group behind us, and They first started reaching out to me probably mid-year last year is when I first started kind of hearing about this project a little bit. And as things got closer, everything kind of timed up perfectly. And so I would say around the turn of the year is when I really started diving heavy into this project and getting everything going. So, I was very fortunate to be brought on.
Here, 2025? So this is only like 3 months in the work?
I mean, like I said, it's been in my ear for quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And as we were waiting on the build out and all the different things going on and the contractors, my position kind of became more intensive at the turn of the year. So we've done a lot in a very short time, and we were fortunate enough to be able to get open as quickly as we were able to. It's you see so many bars get dragged out for. I mean, some places don't open for a year after they're supposed to, and everything. And we were able to really push things along here and make it happen. So.
That's awesome, man. I'm happy for you. I know that when we were at the Courtesy and you're like, hey, just so you know, I'm probably going to be working at another. I'm like, what? What's going on? What are we doing?
I think when I first started kind of talking about it was back in October when I first started kind of dropping little hints that I was getting involved with another project.
Yeah.
And, didn't want to start talking about it too early. Wasn't sure exactly where things were going to be or how soon we were going to be on the scene.
That's exciting, though. I mean, it was exciting when you brought it up. I was like, this is always a really great space for. I like variety, right, and being able to have those options. Mm-hmm. And I think every consumer does. I'm not going to lie. Some people have their. I want to go to my same bar. I want to go to the same place. I want to do this. I like having the variety is the spice of life. I like switching things up, and I think doing something great date night or giving more in options for people, and to really be honest, competitiveness does elevate everyone around you.
Yeah.
So opening a new space in Maitland where I felt like it was a long time coming where we needed more options.
Yeah, it was definitely, like you said, it was definitely needed. It was a long time coming. And, it was something, too, going into this project. We weren't sure, exactly how the community was going to receive everything. And we wanted to, like I said, kind of be whatever anybody needed us to be. So we took a very broad approach to things, and so it was very interesting, and we're just really happy to be able to bring something cool to the community and really kind of like share what we're doing.
Awesome, man! And never look back at engineering. Just decide, before we go on break this. Have you ever gone? Yeah, maybe that desk wasn't too bad. Have there ever been?
I don't think I'll ever fully pursue that. I thought about going maybe back to college a little more and doing some stuff. Just because I have so much college under my belt already, and there's you can always keep learning. Even no matter what it is, whether it's beverage things or whether it's more business stuff, you can never stop learning. So there's always been a part of me that thought about maybe going and taking some classes again and doing some stuff, but we'll see what happens.
Dope. Well, we're gonna take a quick break, guys. We're gonna refill. I'm drinking a little bit faster than him, but he also has a job to do, and I'm just a lush. Guys, when we get back, we're gonna get to know more about Josh, the Packwoods, and we're gonna be pouring up some Green River weeded whiskey that I brought because I never show up anywhere empty-handed. way too culturally Hispanic to be like show up to a gathering empty-handed. Be right back, guys. Take it.
Sponsor of Bourbon and Bullshit, Big Bang Boom Collective is Orlando's burlesque and cabaret entertainment group, comprised of Midnight Fables Cabaret, Big Bang Boom Cabaret, and Foxy's Den. Follow us on Instagram at Big Bang Boom Collective, or join our VIP email list for info on upcoming shows by visiting www.bigbangboomcollective.com.
Hi, guys. So I am back with Josh Schaeffer from the Packwoods Bar in Maitland, Florida, and we're going to have our first pour of the day. This is a Green River Full-Proof Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, and for those who want to skip ahead and don't want to be part of the nerd part, well, press a button. You'll be fine. For those who want to know a little bit more, just going to share some quick facts of the Green River Distillery, and relatively unfamiliar with the brand. I'm not going to lie to you. This is my first pour of it. I'm going to have my first drink of it ever with you.
Very nice.
Have you ever had it before?
So we're actually both diving into this brand together, and I'm very excited. I've only heard of the brand, but I haven't been fortunate enough to taste yet. So
yeah, that's part of the reason why I wanted to bring something that neither one of us had, because I knew that you had a kind of a pretty solid whiskey experience, and you knew a good amount of bottles. I'm like, I don't want to bring Stag Junior. You've had Stag Junior. I didn't want to bring the Weller's Full Proof. You've had Weller's Full Proof. Heck,
absolutely.
On Mitchell's last day, I brought a Weller 12, and someone else had already brought a handle of Weller 12. I was like, what the hell? You can't really surprise people in the service
Tommy,
industry.
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was Tommy. It was Tommy. I was like, what the shit, man? Go ahead and make me look silly.
No, and it's always fun diving into new stuff. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, exactly. So Green River Distillery, founded in 1885, is the 10th oldest licensed distillery in Kentucky, proudly in a KY10 designation. So you can find that information online from them. Their mash bill compositions for this one is a unique one. It's 70% Kentucky corn, 21% rye, and 9 malted barley.
So a decent amount of rye content in there.
Yeah, it's a higher rye. So I like the spice.
I do too. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, like when people are like, oh, I don't like. I make fun of my friends, and I'm sorry. Well, I'm not really sorry. I'm going to keep fucking with you. When they're like, oh, I don't really like rye. It's like, you probably don't really like spicy food or seasoned food, do you?
Yeah, exactly. And, I'm definitely a rye guy myself. And in the bourbon scene, I do lean towards the high rye stuff.
Yes, it gives more depth of flavor. It gives you more of a really warm feel. And
absolutely.
There's more substance than I'm just getting drunk. Which
I agree.
We could ultimately all get there. But, for this one specifically, the proof is 117.3 proof, so
okay.
It's a little bit hot.
It is up there, yeah.
And this aging one is a 5 to 7 year old barrel selected and curated by Green River's Ownswood in their title warehouse. So this one's going to be a decent age. You can tell a little bit of the depth of color. 5 to 7 years,
definitely a nice sweet spot. I think with bourbon, I don't prefer anything that goes too high. I mean, You're using New American oak. You got all that char on there. I like that kind of middle ground, I don't like these huge age statements on bourbon all the time.
I was about to say the same thing, and I feel like there's the gain, the work versus the reward type of thing doesn't always equate, right? Yeah. There's a certain level of age. Look, I'm not super refined. I'm not one of those people that are speed smelling and figuring every single nuance out on my palate. So after 10 years, I'm like, I don't really notice a difference.
Yeah.
And not enough. There are bottles. I won't lie to you.
Absolutely.
There's some fantastic.
Every barrel is different, and there's definitely exceptions to any rule. But 100%. Yeah, I very much so agree with you.
Yeah, and if anyone wants to send me a really old age bottle and you want me to test it, that's fine. I'll take it too.
Yeah, we can run through some do some trials.
Exactly, I'll do it. You can tell me if I'm wrong.
We'll sacrifice ourselves.
Yes, I'll take a hit on a $1,300 bottle. That's fine. I won't pay for it if you're sending it. So this one, obviously, you're gonna pick up a lot of those notes. We'll get there. The appearance and when the finish, we're going to get there as well. Kind of we see it's a little bit, actually not one of the darker ones I've seen, but one of the things I do want to also touch upon is the revival and expansion of Green River, as we talked about. We didn't really know too much about it. So after a period of dormancy, the distillery was reconstructed in 2014, with distillation resuming in 2016. So by 2022, Green River was reintroduced, and in 2024 they released this foolproof expression. Part of the reason why we haven't heard of them in so long is they were just not functioning anymore.
And you see that a lot in the industry, obviously, with prohibition going on and stuff. Like, a lot of places did shut down, and I've loved this big revitalization. You're starting to see a lot of these old brands that find their old, mash bills and find these old recipes, and they're kind of bringing these brands back to life, and I love to see it.
That reminds me of there's a brand called Dad Hat, and they looked up the first ever rye recipe or whatever, the oldest rye recipe they can, because in Pennsylvania, when founding fathers came here, they were trying to replicate whiskeys from the UK and obviously from England, and the main grain they found was rye. So they were able to find, we'll make it with this. And Dad's Hat follows this old school high rye recipe, and they've never changed it. They do one thing and do it really well.
Sometimes that's the way to go. I mean, it's when you can specialize in something and really get after it, you can make something beautiful. So
exactly. Yeah, you do something, you find it, you're like, hey, I love this. I'm going to keep doing better and do it better. And you see very often when someone or someplace tries to do too much, they end up putting too much, not enough energy in one thing. They kind of at everything, but that's terrible. Yeah. So definitely is one of those brands that it's one of the least familiar brands I'm familiar with. That was a lot, really weird structured sentence. All my English professor friends and all that, leave me alone. I'm sorry. It's been a long weekend. What's really also cool about this is it's a pretty solid price point. So it only comes out $49 bottle. I haven't really found any other crazy something where I would equate it to a Buffalo Trace's BTAC or anything.
Yeah.
Secondary market's crazy on that. But we're going to try this together for the first time. It was founded by John W. McCullough in 1885, and that's all I really know. So as we continue to drink this and getting to know you more, we'll dive into that later on. So stay tuned for bonus features about Green River.
I was going to say that's a very early DSP as well. So number 10, we're definitely diving into some history here.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be
excited.
Fun. But cheers, Josh.
Cheers.
Hopefully enjoy, and we're going to ask you some more questions the more drunk you get. There's no way that's that high proof.
It does not.
What proof did I say it was?
117?
This is 118.1.
118? That's crazy.
This is a problem. Because you get the warm and tinglies after. You get all that.
You do, yeah. You get it.
Yeah, you get the Kentucky
but
hug.
on the palate. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's good. In weeded bourbon, like those flavors are not always my favorite, but they do some good stuff in Heaven Hill. Some of those weeded.
Yeah, there's definitely some success for it. I mean, even look at like your Wellers and your Pappies and all that. I mean,
yeah.
And to be honest, like one of the majorly called for bourbons behind the bar is Maker's Mark. They're weeded as well.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize, it can definitely, with that high rye content, help to soften up some of those flavors for people.
Yeah, that's a really good. Guys, stop in wherever I'm not gonna. No one's a sponsor here. But if you get to try this, it's actually really worth it. 118 proof. Does not drink it. I'm sorry, I'm gonna do it again.
Got to dive back in. I might add too, the nose is beautifully rich.
Oh my god.
It has a very voluptuous nose, if you will.
I like that. That's good. On the palate, it's not super hot. There's flavors there. There's depth of flavor. It's not one of those drinks that once you've had it, it just disappears on the tongue. I know there's a lot of people like, this is just really nerdy. This is what we're here for. But it just drinks well, man. Greenwood is doing some good work for someone.
As you said, strong finish. It sits there with you.
Yeah, there's a Kentucky hug there for sure. You're drinking. This is not something that you're like, I'm fine. No, you're drinking.
Absolutely.
All right, so get yourself a Green River.
Makes a perfect nightcap.
Hell yeah. Nightcap is fucking 1 p.m. So back to you and everything here that you got going at the Packwoods in beautiful Maitland, Florida. What inspired you to create the menu? What was like the idea? I know that we're trying to make it like a very warm and inviting bar scene. Was that kind of played into it, or were there things that like, I need to have this drink on this menu?
So going into the menus, like I said, the way we have it laid out, we very much wanted a majority of the drinks to look kind of familiar to people. So we want people to know, that's definitely a variation of a Manhattan, or that's, there are some more bespoke cocktails on the menu that are a little more, we still have that for the people that want
high top chucks.
But, yeah, exactly. High top chucks is a perfect example. So we definitely get a little experimental with some of the drinks, but we did want a lot of the menu to be approachable, and we definitely have some good descriptions kind of laid out. So in the book there will be, kind of the categories, if you will. So we go into different spirit categories and classifications of cocktails and have like a few drinks per page. And with that, we provide a little bit of literature on the left side. And so that literature kind of also helps guide the people through, what that cocktail is and what our goal was with that cocktail, or maybe, what we might have changed up in the variation of the classic. And so, we approach the cocktail menu just trying to make it as approachable as possible for the community, and kind of, like I said, introduce people into things that maybe they're not used to, but we didn't want them to be scared to order it. Because like you said, so many places you go in there, and to a lot of people that aren't in the beverage scene, it might look like gibberish. They might not know what all these things are, or what those ingredients are in the cocktail, and then they don't order it. And, they're missing out on these experiences because it isn't laid out enough for people. And so we kind of wanted to take that element away, and and just get people comfortable.
That's such a fucking brilliant and insightful way of seeing it, right? I will be the first to tell you that shouts to Billy Mitchell and all of them, because there were multiple times they would have an ingredient on a cocktail book. But I'm not a very bashful dude. But there's a part of me that's like, I'm just going to Google this because I don't want to ask what they might go. Oh.
Yeah, and we don't want people to be embarrassed or feel out of place, and so.
I mean, they've never made me feel that way, except Mitchell when they started to get to know me.
They're brilliant over there, and they definitely help. But we wanted to kind of push that along even more, especially being one of the first cocktail-driven places in this area in the direct vicinity. Yeah. So we wanted to take that approach, just because we weren't sure what the community was going to be like here. So
that's awesome. I think that's such a fucking smart thing a smart way of approaching it, because it's going to make people a lot more experimental too. As you do start to expand on stuff, they go like, well, I kind of already had this, and I already trust the people here. And
we're still going to have a seasonal menu. We plan on doing weekly specials. We still plan on having a lot of fun with it. We've got a lot of really creative talent behind the bar.
Yeah.
Our bar team I'm very happy with, and everybody kind of has their own niches, and like we can definitely be everything that people are looking for, no matter what they're looking for. So
That's funny, because I was going to ask you, are there times where you've had a concept in mind and you're like, I think this is fucking brilliant, but someone is going to look at me like,
Most definitely, being in this industry, like, you always dream of the different things you want to open and different things you want to do. And, as somebody in this industry, when I go to other cities and big cities and stuff, I like to dive deep into, I want to find those niche, weird places and stuff. And like, it makes sense to me, but there's definitely concepts where I feel like they, might be missing out on some stuff just because they aren't as approachable. And, so that's definitely a thought that crosses your mind when you start diving into, concepts and what you actually want to do. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all still got to make money, right? And so
here, gotta make money.
Just gonna lay it flat out there. So
you gotta be,
and
you're the industry of making money in sales.
Yeah, you can't be too exclusive. You can't put yourself too off the map for people.
Yeah, especially in an industry that's so competitive and so much going on, and you want to make yourself approachable yet still distinguished enough that people want to come here versus somewhere else.
Absolutely.
So creating a different experience for them and creating something unique is going to be something that will set you apart. Aside of just your location and the vicinity to all these other companies and organizations, being like we talked about early on when you said, I want people to feel comfortable getting a shot and a beer here at the same place that I'm making an elevated Manhattan that people don't realize is an elevated Manhattan. Hey, that's dope. I think that's really smart of you, and I think that tells a lot about the work you've done in the industry.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, our industry is called hospitality. We are here to be hospitable. We're here to be open arms for people, and kind of be their little retreat from life. And so
we need it.
Yeah, you're telling me. These times are crazy, but we're hoping to be a little gym for people while we're going through everything.
That's awesome, man. And you're a couple weeks away from opening up fully to everyone, and you're excited. I know that. What's the process look like for when you guys are coming up with the menu? Is this, because I've seen in other locations, bartenders will present stuff, all that. But since you're so early on, is this something you own independently, or everyone still does it?
With trying to get the staff involved and take ownership right away. Like I said, we're going to be diving into things like weekly specials and doing features and giving people. We do want the staff to also be expressing their creativity constantly and be able to showcase what they're doing as well. And we want the team here to really kind of, like I said, take ownership in the bar. And so we're going to be constantly rolling out new things and have different stuff going on to really kind of incorporate all that.
Yeah, keep the excitement going and keep someone always engaged. That's
absolutely
awesome.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. I was fortunate enough to come up in places where I was given a lot of free reign. I was given a lot of time to R&D and time to experiment with stuff, and that's kind of what helped get me to where I was. And so I just want to be able to be that for other people as well, and let people flourish and really kind of open up.
You can't grow without a little bit of failure and all that.
Absolutely.
What would you say was a cocktail that you made that you thought was going to hit and it was not? Hate to put you in the spot, but
that's a funny question. When Malort first came to Orlando, of course I wanted to do a Malort cocktail.
Oh no!
And we experimented with it, and there was some alright options, and stuff like that. But there are certain ingredients that are really tough to use. That no matter what you try, it doesn't feel like it's good enough. You might make something good, but it doesn't feel like it's something you should really showcase.
You should never put Malort on the menu.
Yeah. So, but we were all very excited when Malort came to Florida. So we were ambitious and wanted to try and do stuff with it.
What was the cocktail that you came up with, if you don't mind me asking?
Funny enough, I had a bartender working for me at the time, Todd, and we kind of we're diving into stuff together and kind of kept experimenting with it. And one thing we found is Malort surprisingly works really well with grapefruit, which they're two bitter things. You think they would clash hard, or but something about grapefruit and Malort works really well together. And I actually should credit this drink more to him than myself. He created the Malortini that we used grapefruit liqueur in it and stuff. I can't even remember the entire build. It never went on the menu. But it was a fairly approachable Malort cocktail that used a decent amount too, not just a quarter ounce, not just it was the base spirit.
Oh my god!
And like I said, I can't even take credit for that drink at all. But it was when we were going through trials and errors together. I think that was the best thing that came out of those times. So
that's dope. That's funny because I didn't expect Malort. Now that I know what to expect, I'm always surprised when people are like, "This is the worst cocktail I've ever made."
Yeah, it's and I've had a lot of trials and tribulations with other things as well. There were definitely things that sometimes you go in with an idea and you gotta scrap it. I find that particularly when you try to name a cocktail before you make the cocktail versus making the cocktail and naming it later. Typically trying to lean in too much to a name or something funny that you thought of is a little bit harder, and those are the ones you end up having to scrap.
The ones that feel forced and not natural.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's funny but more or less most cocktails I've been able to finally work them out and make them work.
That's awesome. Well, to anyone who hasn't had Malort, don't.
Just stay away from it.
Just don't do that. Anytime someone tells
you. Just get your friends to take one.
If you ever stop anywhere and they're like, they were either doing Rumplemints or Malort shots, tell Billy I said hi first.
Shout out to Billy with the rump.
Rumplemints is one of my favorite shots. But Malort is one that you do it once and that's it. If you're going to ever do it, it's not worth
if you're in Chicago, you have to.
Yeah, you have to.
Even the dive bars are going to throw it at you left and right.
Yeah. I remember seeing a video online. It's where if a customer complains to a bartender, my drink isn't strong enough, he's like, "Oh, I got you," and they top it off with Malort. I'm like,
That's great. That's great. You want some more?
All right, here. Now you'll taste the alcohol, I promise you. It's not even that high in ABV.
No, it's
so fucking awful.
It's very intense.
But with that being said, in the same vein, I always ask bartenders this, and bartenders, people working in the industry, what has been your least favorite cocktail to make? Because we see these trends in social media. Everyone wants a Negroni Bagliato with Prosecco. Or we see these trends where they become so inundated. Right now is the Espresso Martini.
And, a lot of people, say, "Oh, I hate speaking Espresso Martinis." Honestly, I don't have any problem with it. I don't find it to be any different. 99% of the time, I love making whatever drink people want to drink,
Okay.
I try to be open to that. But if I had to... really kind of
pick your least favorite cocktail.
Call out something that I think doesn't really have a place in the scene is the Ramashin Fizz. So,
yes,
and I might be jumping on a little bit of a bandwagon here, but it's not even so much the process of making it. I'd be more than happy to go through which is a lot of ingredients, a lot of steps, a lot of technique going into it to make sure that it actually comes out well. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'd be more than happy to do that if it were a better tasting cocktail. It's very one note for me. It tastes like orange with cream, and I think the reward is not worth all the work.
Do you mind giving the listeners at home who might not be familiar with this? We're gonna post it online for you guys to see what this looks like.
It's you should add a photo in later, but it's it's a beverage that uses lots of ingredients, including egg white, heavy cream. You got to get all your stuff dirty. It's got orange flower water. It's got a ton of ingredients. You got to make sure everything's super cold. You got to basically whip it into a meringue. Mm-hmm. And then, there's no ice in this cocktail, and you end up taking, some soda water and dropping it in, and you get this big old head of foam that stands tall. And the taller you can get it, the better you are. People have fizz-offs. It's a fun thing in the bartender community to have a fizz-off.
Fizz-off?
I think somebody's actually doing a competition soon for it. But back in the day at the old Courtesy downtown, I remember days where all of us that weren't even working would be jumping behind the bar. Sorry, Billy, for putting that out there. And we'd all be trying to see who could get the biggest head on a Rima Shin Fizz.
Awesome. Go on. We threw Josh off. I love that we broke character.
The good old days, and I don't even think we would drink them. I think we just wanted to see how high we could get that head on it, and it's a beautiful standing head that you can set a straw on, and it'll just sit on top and float on that foam.
when you see the images online, please go to our Instagram. You'll see it. There's a giant foam wall in the shape of the glass that's used, and it's a Collins glass, typically, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
and if you don't make it right, you don't do everything just right, your foam will topple over, and you got a dirty glass that's all over the place, and so it's like I said, it wouldn't be such a pain if it were better tasting. I think I would be less apathetic to make it.
Oh my god, yeah. I've seen them online, and that's actually one of the ones that I've come up only once. I think the ones we get usually are espresso martinis are not as bad as social media will have you believe. A lot of bartenders don't really mind it. The one we get a lot is a mojito, because of the work when you're in a busy like cocktail scene or something like that, where people are waiting for old fashions or waiting for all this, like mojito, slapping mint, breaking all that stuff to do a classic mojito is a bitch. For sure.
It definitely is. I mean, I think anytime you got to break out the muddler, it's kind of like but at the end of the day, it's not something so bad. And we actually, built into our beverage program, have a really good mint syrup.
Oh, okay.
So we can kind of dodge some of those. So don't be afraid to order. Don't be afraid to order a mojito here. We actually have something on the menu that's right in the lines of a mojito.
That's dope.
So we can actually supply that for you very easy.
That's dope.
But we do a pretty cool mint syrup where it still keeps all the green color. We do it a little bit different than some bars, and so it's It's a cool process, and it still makes a beautiful cocktail.
That's fair. I like that. I like the fact that you knew that that's a popular drink for a reason. It's refreshing, all that. But the gin fizz. You're right. Gin Ramos Fizz. I haven't heard much other than it's a bitch to make.
It's my favorite thing to order on a bartender's last night at a bar. There's
a
hilarious story. Do you know Christian Serrani?
No, but tell me the story.
So he used to be the bar manager at Ravenous Pig back in the day. He's actually the GM over at Sunroom and Guest House. Shout out to them over there. On his last night, towards the end of the night, we ordered some Ramos from him. I think 4 of them, and it actually, he had a couple drinks that night, and I think by he had a couple of attempts there, and on the last one he had cracked the egg white into the large side of the tin, and he had all the rest of the ingredients in the other one. So the egg whites were in there, and he went to go do a cool tin flip to throw them on top of the other tins before he began shaking. And when he flipped them, the egg whites just flew all over his apron and dripped down his apron. And the look of defeat on his face was hilarious. We did finally end up getting 2 of the 4 we ordered. And when we did, my buddy Andy, he grabbed it and slammed it in one gulp and said, boom. And that was probably the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Oh, my God.
It was,
You guys are...
Sorry, Chris Serrani. We were very mean.
Chris.
Love you.
I'm going to stop in the guest house and order gin fizz. I don't even want the drink. This is a whiskey podcast for a reason. That's actually really funny. That I do love that camaraderie you guys also have. I was talking to Samir Patel from
over at Forward Slash.
Yeah, and he had stopped in at the Courtesy, and Billy iced him.
Yeah. That's another favorite, especially on bartenders' last nights, is hitting them with the ices.
For those who don't know, can you break that down?
Yeah, so basically you go around and Smirnoff Ice, go around and hide them, and if somebody stumbles upon one and they see it, they then have to chug the Smirnoff Ice.
Yeah.
And they do sell mini ones, by the way, which are easier to hide. You can put them in the bottom of somebody's fruit bowl. You can do whatever. That's also another favorite for bartenders' last nights, is to hide ices everywhere in the bar. So
that is good to know. You have to chug.
I would say it probably started as an old college game, but we like to kind of carry it into our world a little bit.
That's actually funny. Yeah, Samir was telling me, he's like, and it was warm. It was gross.
Oh man, that's they're like lightly carbonated, weird, and just warm. I couldn't imagine.
Oh, God. I don't even like Smirnoff Ice when it's cold, let alone warm in the middle of my day. Like, that would be so... But
oh man,
bartenders, I do love the camaraderie that you guys have and the jokes.
Yeah,
and
we like to play. We like to play jokes on each other. We like to have a good time.
Oh yeah, but you guys are super loyal to each other. Like,
it's very much so. We would do anything for each other. We might heckle each other. We might give each other a hard time. But there's, it's a. I don't want to say brotherhood. I don't want to be gender specific here, but it's a great camaraderie.
It's like a little tribe, like tribal,
absolutely
things. So like even. Multiple times I've had bartenders when I've gone out of town. I go to like Austin and I ask bartenders where they drink, because I think that's better telling of like a good cocktail and a good time and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And we've ended up in some fantastic places. My fiance, I love her to death because she's so open to where we want to try stuff. So shouts to her. I'm always shouting her out. Anyone who ever watches my show or listens to the show, they know I always shout her out. She is the first person when I'm like, hey, I want to try some random shit. She's like, oh, let's do it. And she'll do the research. She'll do all this stuff. I remember asking a bartender, hey, where do you guys drink? I was like, okay, here and here. Go here and try this.
Yeah.
And it was like something called the Acid Cat drink. I was like, what the fuck is an Acid Cat?
Yeah, right.
So I walk into the bar and they're like, hey, how are you? And they looked at me confused with like how I found this like hole in the wall bar. I'm like, hey, I stopped at like the bell room and they said to come here. They told me to ask for an Acid Cat. They're like, was it Josh? They knew who had like told me to come here.
That's hilarious, you know.
They knew who it was. Like, that motherfucker asked you to ask for that. Like, all right, cool. I'm just warning you, it's a little different.
Yeah. We used to kind of play jokes on courtesy all the time, actually, and we'd send people over there to heckle like Mitchell about different things, and and then he's like, he knew exactly. They sent you from, yep. Yeah.
They knew exactly who fucking sent us. Acid Cat was a really cool cocktail because it had this like Buzz Bell flower.
Oh, yeah. So the Buzz Buttons.
Yeah. So you would drink a little bit of it. Buzz Buttons are almost like a numbing agent. So you chew on this flower.
Capsium. So the same thing that's in Szechuan, but like 1,000 times as potent.
Yep.
And so it will just numb your entire mouth out.
So the cocktail changes in flavor profile because now that you're numbed, you're tasting completely different things. Parts of your palate are shut off.
Very interesting.
So the drink was fantastic, but she said, yeah, people are scared of it. So the reason why he sends you to have it is not it's kind of a, hey, I sent this person over, kind of a signal, like, hey, I sent this person over, they're cool.
Yeah.
But also, like, this is for you to have a different experience than everyone else who's shying away from it. So it was like one of their, like, hey, drink special, blah, blah, blah.
Very cool.
Warnings, kind of.
It's funny, I've almost used Buzz Button in a drink before. I never ended up doing it, but, I did want to kind of play into, like, a bee theme and do something with honey and Buzz Buttons and, like, but,
you would be,
the opportunity's still there, right?
Hey, I was about to say, like, you're still, haven't opened.
Yeah, exactly.
You could decide that tomorrow.
For sure.
But, hell, even me, when after I had it, I was like, what can I do? Because I'm not a bartender. I just, someone who drinks a lot, spends a lot of time in bars. I wanted to bring Buzz Buttons for whenever I had people at the house, we could have drinks together.
Yeah.
But I would not have had the knowledge to know what cocktail would make this work.
Yeah. I thought about different ways to go about it and stuff, and obviously you can use them as a garnish too, which all garnishes should more or less be edible, right? Mm-hmm. And I also was too scared to get complaints and bad. I was like, yeah, because when you just eat it raw, it's like, oof.
I was thinking about
some people are like think they're having an allergic reaction. They don't know what's going on, and so it's it's a line you gotta walk. You almost have to put a disclaimer on there.
That's what that bar did.
Yeah.
The Acid Cat had like on it says like, this is warning, like you're gonna feel numbness, blah blah.
I've definitely ordered some before and went around and made all my bartenders eat one without telling them what it is. Just
you'd order them on Amazon, by the way. But if you order them on Amazon, it comes in like packs of 50 to 100.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't need that many.
Yeah. But they're a good time, Yeah. I've actually heard of people in between like wine tastings and stuff using them to cleanse their palate. I guess once it wears off and everything. Huh. Apparently that's a thing.
That's interesting.
Very interesting.
I'll fuck around and try it.
Because it's really intense, but I guess once it wears off, it does really cleanse the palate.
Right, look into that. Buy Buzz Buttons. Buzz Buttons. All right, so we're about to get towards some of the in the weeds and getting to know like the intimate stuff before we close out. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we get back, we're going to continue on and getting to find out any unique stories or situations. If not, you've had a fortunate life. Be right back, guys. Hey guys, this episode is brought to you in part by Coach John Estrada of Run BMT Training, longtime supporter of the show and an absolute beast on the pavement. And for the record, this man just crushed the LA Marathon. And if you're looking to level up your running game, John's the coach to get you there. That's John with no H. Trust me, he's going to correct you. Whether you're training for your first 5K or tackling a full marathon, Run BMT, the coach is there, and John will have you running smarter, faster, and injury-free. So if you need expert coaching, hit up John at blackmattertraining.com and tell him I sent you. Now, he might not give you a discount, but he will make you a better runner. Again, that's John at blackmattertraining.com. Now let's get back to it. Thanks, guys. All right, guys, and we are back. So one of the questions I like asking people in the service industry, because I don't think people appreciate what you guys go through. Every time you guys get consumers, I'm going to say this because they can't say it because they're in the service industry and they want you to show up to their bars. I'm going to tell you, if they're busy, they're slammed, your drink might take a little longer. Relax. You'll be fine.
Absolutely.
There probably been like 16 people ahead of you that they're already ordered well before you walked up. Let your bartender get their shit done.
People can definitely get impatient and stuff. There's tons of horror stories around it, and it's never a good time.
Yeah.
You wanna keep everybody happy. You want drinks in hands.
Yeah.
I do appreciate when the bartender walks in the bar and sees that you're slammed, and they're like, I'll just take a beer and a shot.
Yeah.
They're like, you know what I mean? I'm gonna be super easy and quick. So
I showed up to like we'll keep going back to them. I showed up to like the courtesy, and they had like a winter event or something.
Yeah.
Line of people. And
Yeah.
Billy's like, hey man, what's going on? I was like, hey man, deal with everyone else.
Yeah.
I will wait out here and play on my phone.
So it's always fortunate when you see the homies come through and they're super cool. You're like, all right.
I'm gonna do everything you need to do. Whenever you get a chance,
Yeah.
you can hit me up. If not, I'll be on my phone. I don't care.
Yep, absolutely.
But in the weeds, right? That
in the
term that
weeds.
people love so much in the industry.
There's one particular story that definitely kind of comes to mind, and back in the day, I actually worked underneath a big Tiki nerd, and his name's Jasper. He now lives out in California, but we used to do some Tiki events and different things, and in particular, we did one event with a big Tiki society, and we put together a menu for it, all that stuff. I think it was a mixture of classics and some originals, and in the Tiki scene, and Tiki drinks have a pretty big build usually, a lot of touches, a lot of ingredients, and so they can be a big undertaking. And we also we had a special where I think we did something fun where if you brought your own Tiki mug, we would do it in there for I think we maybe did a discount or something, I can't remember. And so that was a little ambitious, so we had this huge society of Tiki people all come out, all bringing their own mugs. But we definitely got very deep in the weeds, and so we're trying, to match these tickets up with different people's mugs, and everybody's mug holds different volumes, and the drinks aren't fitting right, and we're just going through these huge builds, and we just trying to keep track of everything correctly and keeping the people's mugs with their tickets, and it was a very ambitious thing. It was a fun event, but we definitely took a lot longer than we should have to get drinks out, and I just remember definitely feeling bad, and we were heads down for hours just pounding through this event, and it was interesting, definitely would have taken a different approach to that event had we done it again.
Volumes, yeah.
And it was crazy, so to say the least. And
did you have any Karens? I hate to keep using it.
everybody was fairly cool. Fortunately, there was definitely one or two people that weren't. They were a little.
Yeah.
You know how it is. I won't go into too much detail on that.
I don't work here.
Yeah, there were some wait times, and there were some people that weren't as impressed, but most of the community within the Tiki scene is pretty cool and pretty understanding, and they understand what goes into these drinks and all the prep and time and different ingredients and things that we worked on. Overall, it was a successful event, but it was, I think, one of the deepest weeds moments I've had, and so it was a lot.
I think that's you brought that. Fortunate enough, Tiki's so niche that people know.
And I love the Tiki world, but it's props to everybody that works at a Tiki bar that does decent numbers and stuff. I mean,
Aku, Permanent Vacation,
all of them, Suffering Bastard, you name it, they're all across the board.
In Sanford, right, Suffering Bastard?
Yeah, so we have a handful of spots in town, and I love Aku, I love Permanent Vacation. We got they're our neighbors now, which is great.
Do you respect that prep at all?
Yeah, I respect everything they're doing, and more power to you guys. It's
in the weeds.
It's an undertaking.
That's a tough. That was ambitious as hell, man. I'm proud of you, but that was wild. Bring your own mug. We'll fill it.
Yeah.
Do you know? Okay, I'm gonna bring a big chug from fucking 7-Eleven.
You know, some people did bring some pretty funny things out as their tiki mug, and it was kind of fun to see. You know,
there's one of my favorite books is what's it? Death in the Afternoon. Not Death in the Afternoon. What is? It's a cocktail book. Death and Co.
Death and Co. Yeah.
Death and Co. They also sell. Wow.
They have a couple of books out now, and all of them are great. You know, they all kind of cover different topics. Some are a little more nerdy and about the ingredients, and some
Cocktail
are kind
products.
of a general, kind of guide to bartending and cocktails.
They sell tiki mugs or like
Yes.
these drink mugs that are some crazy. There's one is like the Marie Antoinette with headless, like got this giant bust of a woman, and I was like, I can't imagine if someone walked into your tiki night that night and just like filled this bitch up.
Right? And
about
shout out
Headless
to
Woman?
Death and Co. They've created an awesome brand, and they do a lot of really cool things, a lot of cool collabs, and their books are great.
Oh yeah, their books are great. And
If you get a chance to visit one of the Death and Co's, they have a couple of them. Great bar,
Yeah, they're great bar, but
very knowledgeable.
even their like barware is top tier.
I mean, they do bar aprons. They do all sorts of gear. They do. They've really, like I said, created a brand for themselves, and they produce a lot of high quality stuff. You know.
Yeah, and the only reason why I mentioned them, not a sponsor, but if you want to send me shit, I got you. Is because their tiki mugs are so unique. So they even have this one as like an octopus.
Yeah.
A kraken, and it's a massive
It's
thing.
a beautiful mug.
And I can imagine walking into a tiki night and just, hey, fill this up.
Yeah. Right.
Fill up this giant bust of death.
Yeah.
Like, where are you getting this? Death and Co. Don't worry about it. Fill these up. Fill all these motherfuckers up. But yeah, very ambitious, and I can imagine that was one of those like that after you guys were done, you're like,
Oh yeah, we
Never
were
again.
like, yeah, exactly.
but
We continue to do tiki stuff, but not that kind of event.
not an ambitious event like that. Did it at least turn out well financially and everyone?
Absolutely, yeah. We made money. Things were great. You know, it's it was still great.
Oh, alcohol.
Can't complain too much. Still doing what I love. You know.
Exactly, man. You can't be mad at that. So before we close out, I always ask people the same thing. Tell me what's your deathbed cocktail, because I always think it's unique that every bartender's experiences and love for things. So it's a 3-part question. It's gonna be a deathbed cocktail, and I ask you the next one.
It is a hard question. I definitely have some favorites, going from, daiquiris, Dak till death, but no, I think if I had to like really put one on, I'm a lover of spirits. I love rye whiskey, and I think a cocktail that's very simple in form and very much accentuates rye whiskey for me would be the Sazerac. I mean, going way back to the roots of the birth of the cocktail scene. I mean, you got your rye whiskey, your Peychaud's bitters, touch of Demerara, absinthe rinse on the glass, and I love that it is a stirred cocktail, but served with no ice. It's served up but down, if you will, up in a rocks glass, and a little lemon twist. I think it's just a perfect little beautiful cocktail. Somewhat of an old fashioned build, but not as sweet. Really accentuating the rye whiskey, though. I think that's that's how I'd want to go out.
That's fair.
On a Sazerac.
I like that.
And going back to the roots of the cocktail scene, like I said, and what I do. So
I like that. That's a really strong, good cocktail.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised.
And I also love New Orleans. I was fortunate enough to go there a lot of times in my younger 20s, and
Josh,
one of my, I think it
were
might
you
have been
throwing beads?
I think I think one of my I think it might have been my first trip to New Orleans. I actually was out on the streets. I think I was at like a somewhat of a divier bar, and we went outside. The bartender was like, "Oh, you want to come outside? I'm gonna go smoke with my buddy, whatever." So we go outside. It's like 3 or 4 in the morning, right? And the buddy that comes down the street to meet up with us, he runs a bed and breakfast that was down the road, right?
Okay.
And this bed and breakfast, it was actually the house that Peychaud's owned when he was living in the quarter, and had he had a couple pharmacies within the quarter. Mm-hmm. And so they asked me, what's your favorite cocktail, whatever. And so I was like, it's Sazerac, and he's like, no way, you're gonna get a kick out of this. So it actually survived the second of the fires and stuff like that. It is an older building in the quarter, and so it had the main house, it had a courtyard, and then it had all the rooms on the back, which back in the day were quarters. And so actually, Payshaw's, when he first moved in there, he lived in the main house, but then he ended up renting out the main house and living in one of the quarters in the back. But the guy brought me in, kind of gave me the whole history rundown, and they don't advertise this at all, but he's like, yeah, this was Payshaw's house. You know, we went over, we actually sat at the little bar in the back of the main floor and like had a drink together. And so, you know, that could have been very well where the Sazerac might have started, because
That's where he was living.
yeah, that's where he was living when he was making Payshaw's bitters, and they used to blend it with brandy back in the day rather than rye whiskey. And so, you know, because it was also prescribed back in the day.
It was medicinal.
And
This is
so,
for
yeah,
my back.
as the
It's for my bad back.
as the you know, people started mixing things, that's kind of how the Sazerac became about. Bitters were used as medicine. Brandy was used as medicine. They would merge the two together. And so that was kind of a fun experience to kind of learn about that house and be able to see that at like 4 a.m. in New Orleans as like a 21-year-old or whatever I was.
Still kind of like learning the industry and trying to get to know
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
Out there throwing beads and then ending up in a historical.
New Orleans is always a good time. I feel like I always have a real cool connection to the cocktail scene there. I mean,
Yeah.
I've had snackeries with Beach Bum Berry in New Orleans. I feel like every time I go, something cool happens, and then, you know, it's a very unique town with a lot of history. And
Yeah, there's not enough credit given to the actual like cocktails. Like you hear about the hand grenades, you hear about all like the hurricanes, the first hurricane.
but I mean, you go back to the
The
history
hurricane to
of
drink,
it.
not every weather.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, very touchy there. No,
yeah. For someone's like canceled. Talk about the drink.
Yeah, you know, you go back to like the birth of the cocktail scene was there. You know, you had your French 75s originally
Yeah.
made with cognac when all the people were coming back from World War I and all that.
Yeah.
And you have, you know, you got your Vauqueray, Four Corners. That was the quarter. I mean, you got, you know, the staples of the cocktail scene kind of originated from that town. So it's got a lot of magical history to it.
Yeah, man. I think there's a lot to be like appreciated in New Orleans. I remember having not like a disagreement with one of my friends. Is like, oh, I don't like, because we've gone to New Orleans during Mardi Gras, and he's like, oh, the streets are dirty, but it's fucking Mardi Gras. It's a giant party street.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? But he's like, I don't really love going there. It's like the food's amazing, the drinks are amazing, the culture is amazing.
And the quarter's old and it's dirty, but
Yeah.
you also still have downtown that has
Yeah.
a nice scene. You have stuff
Yeah.
on the bayou. Like, there is other parts of the
There's
city
other
too. If that's not your
Yeah.
scene, you don't want to get in that nitty gritty.
Yeah.
There's other beautiful parts of
Yeah,
New Orleans.
but-
You know.
But that's also my point was that it's like Orlando has a dirty like party
Yeah.
scene where everyone's like the floors are
Definitely.
sticky. Wall Street, hey guys.
But
Like,
you know, our music scene also doesn't even touch theirs. And
Yes.
the music, the culture, the
Yes.
food, the drinks. I mean, it just brings people together.
yeah, and 100% never ever like I'm a big proprietor of like going to places like I said, I go where the bartenders drink. I go where the people who the chefs eat. I try to go there.
Absolutely.
Austin, Texas, one of my favorite places to visit. They have 10th Street. They have a
Yeah.
whole website dedicated to the gross stuff that happens on South Street. It's like 10th Street fails. So
I have not seen that. I'll have to take a peek.
yeah, you have to take a peek at that. It's actually freaking hilarious. But like every area could have a bad like downtown hidden area where people get drunk and make an ass of themselves. But the culture ingrained, the food, the nightlife, the history, French Quarter, if you're a spooky person, which I am, I love horror movies.
Yeah.
The ghost trails and all the things that they got going.
Absolutely.
Like, there's so many cool historical facts that happen out in New Orleans. So being able to actually see where those bitters were created and possibly the Sazerac was created,
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
It was really cool. It was just a 4 a.m. detour in the city that doesn't really sleep.
It's one of my favorite things. I like what you get into at 4 a.m. I used to go to visit Walmart, and now you're like, now I found out where the Sazerac might have been made.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a dope thing. All right, what's your Mona Lisa cocktail? What's one drink that you've either had or made that's like perfection?
This is a great question. You know, I was barely 21. I was just getting on at Ravenous Pig. I was working with so many good people that were very talented in the scene. Most of them are now running bars or own bars and stuff now, including you got Justin Levon with Otto's High Dive was there at the time. You know, a couple of those friends have moved to other states and stuff. But I was the young guy. I was the young cat, you know, just getting into the nitty gritty of making like nicer cocktails and everything. And so my first drink I ever put on there was something I was very proud of. we were doing a spring menu flip, and everybody brought all these really cool ideas, but everything was super bright and, spring, lush, and I was like, well, you know what? There's nothing that's like got some oomph on this menu. So I was like, I want to, stick with the season, but I want to do something a little bit different. And so I was just kind of like, taking a peek at like what was in season, what's going on, and I found out it was a great season for mushrooms. And so I kind of took that and ran. A lesser-known cocktail in the scene is a mezcal cocktail called a Tobacco Road, and I kind of loosely based the build on this cocktail. But the cocktail I put on was called the Wild Hunt, and so we it starts with a base of Scotch whiskey instead of mezcal. It had some Shinar, the earthy, and I did a mushroom infusion on the Shinar to make it even more mushroomy. And then mushroomy, that's a word, yeah. And
if we know what you meant, it's a word.
It had some Amontillado sherry to add some nutty flavors in there. We did a saline solution for this cocktail, but for the saline solution, I took a smoky tea out of China called Lapsang Shushang tea, if you're familiar. And I used truffle salt for the salt. So the saline solution was a Lapsang truffle saline solution.
Okay.
There was like a touch of cane syrup in there.
Goddamn, Josh.
Yeah, it was a stirred cocktail. Did a lemon twist on it. It was like super umami, earthy, mushroomy. I mean, it's a cocktail I'm very proud of. I'll still rip up variations of it all the time. Funny enough, there is a very cool cocktail. Not the same build at all, and not exactly the same concept, but there's a cocktail going on our menu called Close But No Cigar. And it uses some similar ingredients in it. And,
is that a callback to that cocktail?
And it is a little bit of a callback. And I haven't, So, the Wild Hunt's something I'm very proud of, and I wanted to kind of like pay homage to that. So it's it's not exactly based on it, but it loosely has similar flavors, similar ingredients. So you got to come check out the Close But No Cigar over here at Packwoods.
We will try to get that. So guys, don't worry about it. We're going to try that. So that's all. So when you featured it, what did everyone's response was? Was it like, oh my god?
Yeah, I wasn't sure how reception would be. Obviously, it's playing with flavors that not everybody is super accustomed to, especially in a cocktail. And the reception was great. I mean, I have people that actually years later, a close buddy of mine, Dustin Crawford, came back and was like, I remember when I first met you, and I remember to the T this drink you had on the menu, and that will stick with me forever. So it definitely meant a lot hearing that from somebody years later. Like, hey, I remember this drink you did, and it just blew my mind. And
that has to be so rewarding.
It was like,
too.
Yeah, it was like my first real good cocktail on a menu anywhere, and like actually doing something cool. So I, definitely take a lot of pride in that.
That has to be fucking really a good feeling. It's like
yeah.
Years later, it's like, hey, remember that one drink you made? Fucking to this day, to this goddamn day. Being something what you might have thought is like, oh, okay, cool. I got it's running early on. It might be not like a flash in the pan.
Yeah.
And lingering with someone you saw as a peer, maybe even look up
I didn't
a
expect
bit.
this cocktail to sell at all. I didn't expect it to be anything, and it ended up being a banger. So
hell yeah. Well,
yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, fucking done.
Some daps on that.
Hell yeah, you deserve that shit. That's awesome. All right, and you. Proud of you. Not that it matters. I'm not in the industry. What's the drink that you would make for the most important person to you? Because I'm always interested. I'm not telling you to put your business out there to say who's the most important person to you, but like,
I've been very busy lately. Lots of stress, lots of stuff going on. I'm very happy to be opening, and all that stress is going away now, and I'm in a really great place. But my backbone in my life lately, that's been my support system, has been my girlfriend, and her name's Alex. And
hi, Alex.
Hey, she actually she manages over at Osprey Tavern over in Bourbon Park.
Oh shit.
And so her favorite drink is a Naked and Famous, and I just like. Yeah. Making it well for her, that's like kind of a go-to cocktail for her. So a nice last word riff using mezcal, and so I would have to say that she's definitely an agave girl. She loves her margarita. She loves her Naked and Famous. So,
I love that.
Love making that one for her.
So the Naked and Famous, I've actually featured on the show because I've never had the drink.
Okay, cool.
Until like maybe 2 months ago.
Oh, really? So that was real recent.
Never had the drink. I've heard of it. I've seen it in the book because it's in Death and Co. So I was going through like I've never had this, and I used Sin Nombre to make a Naked and Famous. I was like, where the fuck has this drink been my whole life?
Yeah.
Why did no one tell me about this shit?
And like I feel like all the kind of last word riffs, if you will, all those like 4-part, equal part cocktails are great. I think there's some, that could use a little more balance by adjusting some of the specs, but I think a Naked and Famous is one of those equal parts cocktail that I actually wouldn't make any adjustments to. There's a little saying that every equal parts cocktail could be a little better if it wasn't equal parts. And, people can fight me on that. I know all the Negroni lovers out there and stuff like that, but I think a Naked and Famous is a perfectly I think the Naked and Famous is one of those cocktails that has equal parts and is perfectly well balanced if it's executed well.
Yeah.
You give it a nice frothy shake, get it nice and aerated. I mean, I think it's velvety. It's got your acid. It's got your sweet. It's got your bitter. It's got it hits all the marks.
Yeah. I love that, man, and I love that you knew exactly what the significant other would like.
Yeah.
Funny enough, because I think it's comical. My fiance, when her favorite cocktail is the paper plane, but it's one using mezcal, equal parts, everything. So it's kind of like a last word riff, give or take.
Yeah, no, very much so. Yeah, it's right there in the same family.
Yeah, so that's why I laughed at it. It was like that she likes mezcal too. Basically, very similar cocktails. So Naked and Famous is a fantastic drink. And shouts to Alex. Hopefully Osprey is going well. All right, so last but not least, as we're closing out, I know that you mentioned that as part of this brand, there are partnered brands as well. I wanted you to kind of talk to us a little bit about those and those that are associated with you.
Yeah,
share some of the fun, exciting stuff that's coming up.
Absolutely, thriving hospitality. Been on the scene for a little bit, but really blown up in the more recent years. So doing a lot of expansion right now, a lot of cool projects underway. The concepts kind of hit the whole spectrum. Mike originally got his teeth cut kind of in the college scene, coming out of college at UCF, and since then has kind of expanded. I mean, I think Packwoods is the 6th location within the family, and we have a couple new projects under the way. We've got Thrive downtown. We've got
that's you.
Bellhop is now underneath Thriving as
really?
well, and then Lamp and Shade. There is obviously Packwoods now. We still have one bar over in the college town, so Bounce House, which UCF is really slim pickings nowadays. There's only about 2 or 3 college bars over there, unfortunately, due to all the expansion and growth and the population at UCF. It's all high-rise apartments and everything now. And then out in Tampa, we actually we have a bar over there, Ivy Rose. Another cool spot out in Tampa. But in the near future, we do have we do have a location coming to a food hall over in Apopka that used to be an old grain and feed store. So we've just kind of started peeping information about that. Okay. So that'll be kind of like a satellite location for us, if you will, and we will be the only bar outlet within it. So food and beverage available from us over there. And then we actually have another project that's still under works right now, kind of going into the downtown area in one of the new high-rises. So we'll have a lounge-style space in the base of one of the high-rises doing breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So, keep your eyes peeled to the Thriving Hospitality, the Instagram and all the pages and stuff. We'll start peeping some more information as things get closer. But there's a lot of cool stuff coming up, and I'm happy to be a part of it. I'm going to be helping out a little bit, getting these places open, and so it's going to be lots of work going on right now, and I'm very happy to be part of this big growth period for us as a company. And so it was a perfect time for me to come in, and just lots of exciting stuff going on.
That's awesome, man. I'm excited for you guys. We spoke about it earlier. The more options, the better. Honestly,
Absolutely.
I think one of the things that you've seen over the last 5 to 10 years in Orlando is that there's an expansion of need for good food, good drink, good nightlife options. And as an area that's so heavily inundated with the franchises, where people recognize, where people know, and Disney, the big mouse is always going to be prominent in everything you do. So to give people like the locals options of where they could go, or even people who are visiting, like I go to Austin and look for the local places that are really unique that I can't get at home.
Absolutely.
Creating those spaces and those avenues for people to like go somewhere and get a unique experience is super dope.
Yeah.
And Apopka is kind of quiet in the grand scheme of things comparatively to like
they're up and coming, but they're a little behind some of the areas.
The demand wasn't there.
What was that?
The demand wasn't always there.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a growing thing, and as you see more of the residents of the area kind of expanding out to these other areas, you're getting this more demand as things spread out, and so this one will be kind of the most off the beaten path for us. So it'll be exciting to see what happens over in that area, and we're very excited for that.
I end up there for work anyway, so I would probably just pop up for no good reason other than like, hey, saying hi.
Yeah,
I want to get naked and famous.
Absolutely, And so we'll be able to deliver,
That'd be awesome, man. I think it'd be cool to see that growth, and it's called Thriving
Hospitality.
So just in case people thought that he was talking about how well hospitality is going now, Thriving Hospitality is the name.
For sure, and even growth within Packwoods here. We do have some more programs that'll be coming along in the near future.
Mm-hmm.
We do have a package license here. So do you want to throw that out there? If you taste anything you like or see something really nice on the shelf and you want to take it home, we will be able to sell that for you.
I have a business expense card. Mind your business, guys.
Yeah, exactly. So as we introduce people to new things too, we want people to be able to take stuff home, and so it'll be really fun to unravel that. And we look at implementing things like we're going to do a locker system as well.
So tell me about the locker system.
Yeah, so there's a few places in town that are doing similar things. I think the closest thing in our vicinity would be like Corona Cigar.
Okay.
They have lockers in the back. If you've ever been to the bathrooms there, you pass by them all. Everybody's got their whether it's a company locker or personal locker, you can store things. And so those systems are cool. You kind of rent the locker, and we'll sell you bottles at a really good price, and so we're getting a lot of allocations over here. A lot of heavy.
I'll send you some pictures.
Heavy hitters, and so if you see a bottle up there and you want to make sure it's always available to you, if you get a locker, you can buy them at a pretty good price and
keep it here.
Keep it here. You can go bust open your locker, kind of show off to your friends a little bit, or whatever have you. Keep it exclusive to yourself.
Yeah.
That's a fun program we're going to unravel. I think it's something newer for our company that we're kind of figuring out.
I think that makes sense, especially in this area, especially for people because it's a very heavily business-oriented area.
Absolutely.
So
you got law offices and stuff. Yeah. They want to come have happy hour after work and be able to
impress clients,
grab their impress. Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of opportunity there, and it's something I'm very excited for. We already have a lot of interest.
Oh, definitely.
We might have to expand the locker program at some point.
Even looking at what they have allocated behind the bar, it makes me like, do I really want to share that with people?
Yeah, and
all jokes.
We're also going to be working alongside with Liquid Ministry. They do small bottles.
I saw that.
So we're going to have some nice logoed up small bottles that we're going to be working with, and so with the Liquid Ministry, we'll be able to not only sell nicer pours to go. So we can put a little closure on there and sell like pours to go straight to people out the door if they want something a little nicer, but like 2 ounces to take home or an ounce and a half.
That's awesome.
But also, I think doing little fun questionnaires for people renting lockers and maybe doing some fun little gifts and drops and different things in there for them. Something for them when they open up their locker to be like, little surprises.
That would be such a dope idea
things. Too. Absolutely. We even plan on possibly using those bottles for little take-home cocktail kits and stuff, where we, put all the ingredients together for you. And so, a lot of things to unravel with this space as we get moving along and get everything set. And
Josh, that's super fucking exciting. Way to bury the lead. There's
a
lot of great ideas.
I was holding back a lot of information.
What the hell?
You got some whiskey in me, and now we're.
I'm gonna pour more, guys. Let's see how much we can get out of him. But I think the locker system is cool, especially for those who have gone to Corona Cigar Bar out either in downtown, or I think they will also have one in Lake Mary.
Yeah.
They I know that about that one. That is cool to be able to not have to travel with your shit.
Absolutely. And
also not to be the weird dude to bring
not just for bottles of booze, but wine too, or whatever have you, whatever you're into,
Yeah. That's going to be funny making fun of myself. I was like, or be the weird guy who brings his own bottle to bars. Mind your business. I didn't know they sold it here, okay. At the time, I didn't know it was a package store. That's awesome, man. That's a lot of great fun activities and like I'm thinking about also the locker system. If you are a locker renter, which you should do here at the Packwoods, and you have your bottle there, and you suddenly are surprised with a nice pour of something you've never tried.
Yeah.
That's fucking Christmas.
Absolutely.
Like just showing up one day, ooh.
Being able to take ownership of it, and we're very excited to unravel that program. And like I said, it's something new for us, but it's I think it's needed.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
As we close out, where can people find you, find the Packwoods on Instagram socials?
Yeah, absolutely.
Any closing words for everyone listening?
So the Instagram account is going to be Packwoods Bar. Mm-hmm. Very simple. No, just straight up Packwoods Bar.
We'll feature in the show. You'll be in the show.
And then we also do have a website, packwoodsbar.com. Keep it really easy.
I love it.
So yeah, I think our website's still a little under construction. It still says coming soon at the moment, but as we get ready for this launch and do our grand opening, you'll start to see a lot of content flowing in there, and it's you'll keep posted on there because we'll also be posting about different tastings and classes and different things we want to do too. So that's kind of that'll be a nice hub for any kind of information on events to come and pop-ups, and we're planning on really getting into like the community, both on the broad terms of the liquor community and then also the local community with different like partnerships and pop-ups and different things. So we definitely want to host a lot of events, and like I said, we're gonna have a big focus on education. We're trying to bring your education to the area, get everybody up to speed with what's going on in the scene, and we want to be a hub for that,
For those who are looking for like date night type of things, it's a perfect spot, man.
Oh, 100%. I mean, we got cute little tables, we got nice little areas. I mean, it's everything's super comfy.
Bro, I will show you guys at some point, but this is a fantastic space, really comfortable.
And there's more
really
furniture
sweet.
to come. We do have a patio space as well.
Yeah, still early on. So we got some stuff.
We will be adding some patio furniture outside and some other aesthetics. So yeah, it'll be a great hangout.
I like it, man. I love everything you guys are doing. But we're gonna close out. I know you guys have stuff to do. I've stolen you away for 2 hours.
I should probably get back to work.
Any closing words before we go, outside of like where they can find you? Anything to listeners at home? Anything?
I just want to say it was a great time sharing a dram with you. Always a pleasure. It was good to see you.
Yeah.
Arthur's doing great stuff over here. Keep following.
I appreciate the support.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, just keep posted to our pages. We're going to have a lot of exciting stuff going on. Don't want anybody to miss out on anything. You can definitely subscribe to like newsletters and stuff. We do have an RSVP on our Instagram right now with a link. If you do RSVP, once we do our grand opening, there will be a voucher for a free cocktail.
Shit, I gotta go. So I already signed up. I need my damn free cocktail.
Yeah. So we'll be sending that out soon when we do the grand opening launch, and we want everybody to kind of get in here, kind of see what we're all about. So definitely RSVP, make use of that.
Love to hear it, man. Love it. Well, guys, we're gonna close out. Josh, thank you for having me here.
Absolutely.
At the Packwoods. Cheers again.
Cheers, my friend.
Always. Cheers. I'm going to take some more pictures, drink some stuff off the screen. Mind your business. For those, make sure that you're checking out the Packwoods. Let them know that Arthur sent you for Bourbon BS or whatever my show name will be at the time. Mind your business. We'll get there. And make sure you drink responsibly. Don't text your ex. Avoid Amazon. Buy.
Please
drink responsibly.
It's not my fault.
It's none of our faults. Be smart. Fucking get an Uber. There are multiple organizations that'll help you make sure you get home safe.
Absolutely.
But if you like what we're doing, make sure that you're following on all the socials at Bourbon_and_BS, because cursing is people are finicky about it. But Bourbon and BS or Bourbon Bullshit, you'll be able to, if you like to get to see more of the behind the scenes and exclusive content, make sure you're subscribed to our Patreon. Even $1 will get you exclusive access, and certain levels will get you free glasses with the Bourbon and BS logo on it.
Very nice.
So they're heavy, really good tumbler glasses.
Love that.
So shouts to everyone who has already shared images of their glasses and are enjoying them. I love getting the random text message from people I don't know, or the DM I don't know, of my magnets or the glasses. So if you want this exclusive swag,
coasters are great as well.
Coasters are, thank you.
Got them sitting at my house right now.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah. There we go. Coasters are everywhere. And you need a coaster. You don't want to ruin your tables at home. Be a fucking adult. Don't be a heathen. Use a coaster.
Yeah, the rings in the wood.
Yeah. Like, as I get older, I worry about shit that I didn't worry about back in the day.
100%.
Like, as a fucking 20-year-old, I was like, oh, fucking fuck this, whatever. Yep. As a kid, I was like, you know how much this table costs, you jackass?
Exactly. You got to have a nice wood table to go with the aesthetic for the bar and everything.
Exactly. You have to have a nice bar. You have to keep it nice.
100%.
Get a coaster. Get yourself a coaster that curses at you and tells you that whiskey's great. But guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Take care. Be good to each other. And as always, drink responsibly. Yep. Take care, guys. Bye.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
Cheers. Hey guys, today's episode is brought to you by Burn Termite and Pest Control. I first met Joe Byrne on Full Frontal Nerdity Show and decided to give his company a try. They have been the best pest service I've ever had. From flexible scheduling, attention to detail, fair pricing, and everything you love about a small business, I highly recommend Joe Byrne and Burn Termite and Pest Control. It's a family-owned and operated business with over 30 years of experience in termite and pest. You can reach Burn Termite and Pest Control at 321-297-7985. Once again, 321-297-7985. And let them know Bourbon and Bullshit sent you. Thanks, guys. See you next time.